Beneath the surface of the world's rivers lies a pulse, ancient, primal, beating with the rhythm of life and the whisper of death. From the blood-brown currents of the Congo to the sprawling arteries of the Amazon, from the sacred waters of the Ganges to the mighty stretch of the Nile, rivers have shaped the course of civilizations. They breathe life into deserts, carve through jungles, and sculpt the earth with the patience of time itself. But these flowing waters are not only cradles of life, they are crucibles of survival. Beneath the shimmer of their surface, an empire of predators awakens, silent, swift, and remorseless. Here begins the journey into the rivers of death. The camera rises with the mist over a meandering jungle river. Early dawn light glows gold across the canopy. The surface is calm, glass-like, but below, a cold eye blinks open. In the shadows, just beneath the waterline, the ancient hunter waits. A Nile crocodile, motionless, still as stone. And then, an explosion of power. A heron, once poised at the edge, disappears in a flash of jaws and blood-slicked foam. The crocodile's return is swift, barely disturbing the current. Crocodiles are the river's oldest kings. With ancestry tracing back over 200 million years, they have outlived the dinosaurs and adapted to the rise and fall of empires. Their design is near perfect. Armored skin, daggered teeth, and jaws capable of shattering bone. Patience is their weapon. Precision is their art. But these are not the only predators lurking in the shallows. Thousands of miles away, the Amazon River, wide and churning, stained with silt and teeming with secrets, holds a different kind of terror. Beneath the dense canopy and the tangled vines, the water swirls with unseen movement. A shoal of red-bellied piranhas darts through the murky depths. Dozens, maybe hundreds, move as one. Each only the size of a human hand, but together they are a living storm. Their teeth are sharp, triangular, and designed for tearing. Their senses are tuned to the rhythm of fear. A wounded capybara steps into the river. A scratch along its flank, a minor injury, leaks a trickle of blood into the water. That is all it takes. Within moments, the piranhas strike. The water fizzes with violence. In less than a minute, the largest rodent in the world is reduced to scattered bones. It is brutal, efficient, a frenzy hidden beneath the soft ripple of the water. The camera soars up, over the rainforest, across continents. It glides across sandbanks and cliffs, jungle rivers and meandering wetlands. The world is a tapestry stitched with rivers, and wherever they run, predators follow. In Africa, the Luangwa River coils like a serpent through Zambia's wild heart. Here, hippos claim the shallows. These colossal beasts, often mistaken for docile, are among the most dangerous animals in the world. Their bulk is deceptive. Beneath their thick hides lies an unpredictable aggression. Males defend their territories. With fury, their tusk-like canines capable of slicing through flesh and bone. We watch as two hippo bulls square off. The stillness breaks with a guttural bellow. Water sprays as jaws collide, sending a fountain of blood into the air. The battle is primal, a collision of muscle and rage. In the end, one bull limps back, wounded and defeated. The victor bellows once more, sending a warning down the river. This is his domain. Not all killers here are large. Some strike with silence and stealth. In Southeast Asia's mangrove swamps, The reticulated python moves like a whisper between roots and reeds. At over 20 feet long, it is the longest snake in the world. It waits near the river's edge, coiled like a trap. A monkey ventures too close, reaching down to drink. In a blur, the snake lunges, coils wrap with terrifying force. There is no escape. The monkey's cries are muffled by muscle and strangulation. The python will swallow its prey whole. Digestion will take days. Death in the rivers comes in many forms. Some kill in ambush, others with strength, some with sheer numbers, but all are driven by the same force, survival. Back in South America, another shadow stirs. The green anaconda, thicker and heavier than its age, the Amazon River, a world veiled in emerald mist and crimson shadows. It is a place where the jungle breathes through the trees and the river sings with unseen danger. A place of paradox, lush, abundant, and yet soaked in struggle. It stretches over 4,000 miles, carving its path through 9 countries, feeding the world's largest rainforest. And within its depths, the rules of survival are rewritten. The Amazon is not a river, it is an empire. Its tributaries branch like veins across the body of South America, pulsing with life. From the flooded forests of Peru to the labyrinthine estuaries of Brazil, the waters teem with movement. Yet beneath the green canopy and above the brown currents, there is a curtain of tension, an ever-present sense that anything can happen, and often it does. A single drop of blood in the water. That's all it takes. The red-bellied piranha is drawn by it like a moth to flame. Despite myths of them stripping entire cattle in seconds, their terror lies not in exaggeration, but in precision. We descend into the murky waters. Light filters down like fractured gold. A school of piranhas moves in a synchronized shimmer. They are built for speed, their bodies compact and agile. Their teeth interlock like saw blades, designed for tearing, not chewing. A juvenile caiman drifts too close, searching for easy prey. But the predator becomes prey in an instant. The school descends. The water erupts in a cloud of blood and bubbles. Then, silence. Bones drift downward, clean and white. Above, a howler monkey calls from the branches, its voice echoing across the water. The jungle responds with stillness, as if listening. Even in silence, the Amazon watches. In these flooded forests, there is no dry season, only variations of wet. During the rains, the river overflows into the forest, turning trees into aquatic corridors. And it is here, among submerged roots and drifting logs, that the green anaconda reigns. Massive, coiled, and unreadable, the anaconda is less a hunter and more a presence. It glides through the water with ghost-like grace, its eyes barely above the surface. It does not chase, it waits. A capybara steps cautiously onto a submerged bank, sniffing, listening, but the anaconda is already in position. One powerful strike, and the constriction begins. The river accepts the struggle without fanfare. The capybara's thrashing grows weaker. Soon, there is only the slow rise of bubbles. Predators in the Amazon rarely act in haste. Efficiency is their currency, and the anaconda is not alone. Floating with the current is a creature out of a fever dream, the electric eel. Despite its name, it's not truly an eel, but a type of knife fish. It hunts in twilight, sensing movement through waves of electricity. At over 6 feet long, it emits shocks powerful enough to stun prey, or if necessary, kill. We watch one drift near a school of fish. It hovers. A pulse fires through the water, a bolt of living energy. The fish convulse, immobilized. The eel wraps around its prize and feeds. There is no chase, just a silent ambush in the dark. But not all threats here come from the depths. Jaguar. The word itself feels primal, feline, final. In the Amazon, the jaguar is king of both land and water. Unlike other big cats, it swims with confidence, crossing rivers with ease. It hunts silently along the banks, its dappled coat a perfect mimicry of light through leaves. We follow one through the undergrowth. Muscles ripple under spotted fur. Its eyes are fixed. On the opposite bank, a Jaguar caiman basks in the sun. A dangerous meal, but for the jaguar, a calculated risk. It moves like shadow, into the water, across the channel, onto the back of its prey with shocking force. Its jaws seek the skull, not the throat. A single crushing bite. The caiman spasms, then stills. In a realm of predators, the jaguar is the rare force that dares to hunt the hunters. Still, not all killers wear scales or claws. Meet the candiru, small, thin, nearly invisible in the water. This parasitic catfish is notorious among locals. It follows trails of urea, invading the gills of larger fish. Sometimes, drawn by human urine, it enters orifices. The result is agony, infection, and often death. It is the river's most insidious killer, not by strength but by stealth. And there are other hunters far stranger. The giant river otter, sleek and fast, is a predator built for teamwork. Up to 6 feet in length, with sharp teeth and no fear of confrontation, these social carnivores hunt piranhas, snakes, and even caimans. We watch a family weave through flooded forest, their calls echoing like laughter. But this is no play. It's strategy. A caiman rests among reeds. The otters encircle it. They distract, harass, then strike. Their bites are fast, aimed at soft spots. The caiman retreats, defeated. The river belongs to those who dare. Above them, the skies offer no peace. The Dow harpy eagle, one of the most powerful raptors in the world, patrols the canopy. With claws the size of grizzly bear talons and wings built for maneuvering through dense branches, it plucks monkeys and sloths from trees like a ghost falling from heaven. From the water to the trees, from mud to cloud, death here wears 1,000 faces. And yet for every predator there is prey adapted to survive. The Matamata turtle looks like dead leaves. Perfect camouflage. It lies motionless, mouth agape, waiting for a fish to drift near. One snap, and gone. Survival here demands invisibility and empire of gold, gods, and ghosts. It begins in the highlands, where silver waters dance over volcanic stone, and ends in the endless blue of the Mediterranean. Between its birth and death, the Nile breathes across 11 countries. It feeds cities and sand, jungle and wasteland. It is the longest river on earth, and one of the deadliest. The ancient Egyptians called it Hapi, the bringer of life. But behind the beauty of papyrus reeds and lotus blooms lies an unblinking terror. This is a river of ambush, a river of shadows. We begin in the deep south, where the White Nile coils through the Sud, Africa's vast swamp of secrets. Here the water thickens into floating forests and choking grass. Visibility fades. The sun burns overhead, but under the surface, the world turns cold, and waiting in that darkness is the master of patience, the Nile crocodile. Its eyes break the waterline like ancient periscopes. Its body remains submerged, unmoving. Each ridge on its back tells a story of floods survived, battles won, prey consumed. Some of these crocodiles have lived for over 70 years. Time has taught them silence. A herd of antelope draws near to drink. They shuffle, snort, flick tails, nervous. Rightly so, because the crocodile is not hunting. It is allowing itself to be hunted by time, and then it happens. A blur, a splash, a scream. The water erupts. One impala is gone, dragged into the murk with barely a ripple. The others scatter, hooves churning mud. The crocodile surfaces again, jaws clamped around a lifeless body. It thrashes, rolls, the infamous death roll. Bones crack, the water turns red, then stills again. In the Nile, violence is not a spectacle. It is ritual. Further north, the Blue Nile rages from the Ethiopian highlands. Its waters slice through canyon and gorge, carrying silt the color of old blood. In these rocky ravines, another predator rules the cliffs. The rock hyrax's unlikely enemy, the Varro's eagle. With its powerful wings and razor talons, the eagle waits on thermal drafts. The hyrax, rodent-like and social, lounges on warm stone. It looks up too late. A dive, a cry, then nothing. The eagle returns to its perch, prize in claw. Death from above, as swift as the wind. But no part of the Nile is more infamous, more haunted, than the river's middle reach, where Africa's megafauna comes to drink. Here, in Uganda's Murchison Falls or Sudan's fertile bends, hippos gather in numbers too large to count. They lounge in the shallows by day, bellowing, snorting, playing. But this play masks the capacity for war. A young male challenges the dominant bull. The air thickens with anticipation. The river is silent, watching. A charge, a roar. The water explodes around them. Jaws crash, teeth clash. The young male's face is torn. He retreats, blood dripping into the current. The victor claims the herd, snapping at those who hesitate. Hippos kill more humans in Africa than any other large animal. They are not predators, but they are killers. And in the Nile, that distinction means little. Above the fray, storks and herons pick their way through the reeds, seeking frogs, fish, and the occasional hatchling. The shoebill stork stands among them like a living relic, prehistoric, unmoving, gaze fixed. When it strikes, it does so with deadly accuracy, beheading lungfish in a single bite. But beneath this stillness, other killers glide. The African tigerfish, a blur of silver and fury, patrols the open channels. With teeth like razors and reflexes honed by perpetual hunger, it launches from below to snatch birds mid-flight. A dragon of fresh water, unforgiving and fast. We dive beneath the surface into the world of fish and fear. Catfish with mouths wide, enough to swallow birds. Eels curled in muddy burrows. Crocodile hatchlings drifting like leaves, always one slip from becoming prey themselves. The Nile is a cradle of death, and life here must be born with eyes wide open. In the season of flood, everything changes. The water rises. Crocodile nests are swept away. Hippo territories shift. Riverbanks crumble. The great churn begins. We see a group of baboons crossing a narrow stone pass above a swelling gorge. A juvenile slips. Its scream echoes. The troop shrieks in alarm, but the water below is already stirring. A crocodile lunges, dragging the baboon beneath in a flurry of foam. Even in the highlands where the river runs cold and clear, danger lingers. In the shade of acacia trees, leopards stalk silently. They come not to drink, but to ambush. We follow one now, spots blending with the shadows, paws silent on sun-baked earth. Below, a warthog mother leads her young to the shallows. The leopard
waits, watches, then strikes. It's over in seconds. The mother escapes, but one piglet does not. The leopard carries it high into the rocks.
The Ganges, mother, goddess, and grave. Born from the glaciers of the Himalayas, it thunders down through mountain and valley, twisting through the soul of India. To millions, it is a sacred lifeline. To the life that stirs within its depths, it is a gauntlet of survival. This is not just a river, it is a living paradox, where reverence and danger flow side by side. Above the water, life sings in ritual. Bells ring from temple steps. Saffron-clad figures wade into the river to offer prayers, flowers, fire. Ashes are scattered, bodies bathed, souls released. Yet beneath the surface, a far older rite plays out, one not of worship, but of war. We begin where the Ganges emerges from the Gangotri Glacier, its waters ice-cold, rapid and furious. Mountain goats balance on cliff ledges. Snow leopards watch from above, ghosts of the stone, their fur etched with camouflage. But as the river descends, the land warms and new rulers emerge. In the foothills of the Terai, the Ganges slows, widening into channels that cut through dense sal forest and tall grassland. These are the hunting grounds of the Bengal tiger. We move with one now, her stripes rippling through golden grass, her breath slow. She walks not for exercise, but for purpose. A spotted deer browses ahead, oblivious. The tiger crouches. The moment stretches. Then, an explosion of power. The deer bolts too late. The tiger lands true. One bite. Silence returns. This is the Ganges' first secret. For every prayer whispered on its surface, a life is taken below. Along its banks, a different war unfolds between the crocodile and the gharial. Both are ancient, armored, and lethal. But where the crocodile is brute strength, the gharial is built for precision. Its long, slender snout slices through water, lined with needle teeth, perfect for snaring slippery fish. We follow a male gharial as he basks on a sandbank, his bulbous snout knob, a sign of dominance, shimmering in the sun. Around him, hatchlings gather, barely hand-sized. A black kite wheels overhead, waiting for one to stray too far. The mother gharial nudges them closer to the river's edge, but not all will survive. In the Ganges, even childhood is a battlefield. Beneath the water, another shadow glides, silent, sinuous, and endangered. The Ganges river dolphin. Blind from birth, it navigates by sonar, clicking its way through muddy depths. Once abundant, now rare. Industrial runoff dams and fishing nets have pushed it to the brink. Yet in some quiet bends, it still thrives, hunting catfish, rising for air with a graceful twist. We drift beside one now. Its skin is soft, scarred, its mouth curved in a perpetual grin. But this smile is no comfort. Each day it must dodge trawlers, nets and polluted currents, for the river's greatest predator may no longer be its wildlife, but its people. Still, in the hidden creeks and oxbows, nature resists. A mugger crocodile lies submerged, eyes fixed upward. Above, a langur troop crosses a fallen log. One slips, splashes. The crocodile surges. The langur's scream is brief. The troop watches in silence, mourning in stillness. In the forest, grief is felt, but rarely shown. The river moves on, untroubled. In the wetlands of Bihar, a congregation gathers, not of people, but of birds. Storks, herons, kingfishers. They stalk the shallows, stabbing at fish and frogs. The Saru's crane, tallest of all, stands with its mate. These birds pair for life. Their dances are not just courtship, but declarations. But beauty does not blind this world to peril. At dusk, jackals arrive. Lean, fast, opportunistic. They skirt the water's edge, searching for weakness. A wounded stork, an unattended egg. The cranes defend with stabbing bills and defiant cries, but the jackals know patience. The weak fall behind. The river gives, and the river takes. As night deepens, the real hunters emerge. Leopards slink through sugarcane fields near village borders. Africa lies a river that defies the rules of nature. The Congo. Second only to the Amazon in volume. Second to none in mystery. It winds through the continent like a coiled serpent, deep, dark, and unyielding. A river so vast, so powerful, that it creates its own weather. Its depths remain largely unexplored. Its creatures, half seen, half whispered. It is not just a river, it is a world unto itself. We begin in the upper reaches, where the Chambeshi River transforms into the Lualaba, and the jungle thickens like a dream. Rain falls like silk over giant ferns and strangler figs. The canopy above hums with life. Colobus monkeys leap from branch to branch. Hornbills cry out through the mist, and in the shadowy understory, something moves. A rustle, a breath. A leopard pads silently across the forest floor, its coat a ripple of gold and night. It is here to hunt, but not from the trees. It waits by the water, where red river hogs come to drink. The leopard crouches, invisible to all but the river itself. The hogs shuffle forward, snorting, sniffing. The water reflects nothing but sky. Then, strike, a scream, a thrash, and silence. The Congo consumes without spectacle. Deeper into the basin, the river swells, slow, heavy, and endless. Its main channel runs so deep that light itself refuses to touch the bottom. Over 700 feet in places, it is the deepest river in the world. In its belly, creatures dwell that science has barely named. We descend now into that abyss. The water turns black, vision fades, but life pulses here, faint and strange. Blind fish, adapted to total darkness, glide through the void. Eels shimmer with electric pulses. Giant catfish, thick as logs, rest in underwater canyons. And then, movement. A shadow slithers past the camera, too large, too fast. It disappears into darkness, leaving only questions. Down here, legends feel like facts. Along the banks, chimpanzees gather in the morning light. Their cries echo through the forest, sharp and playful. They groom, squabble, and strategize. For these primates, water is both barrier and bridge. They build branch rafts, use sticks to fish for termites, and teach their young to read the signs of the jungle. But when danger approaches, the group turns still. A low growl breaks the calm. A solitary male leopard approaches the riverbank from behind. The chimps scatter into the trees, mothers clutching infants, males shrieking defiance. The leopard doesn't follow. It drinks, watches, waits. This is his territory, and he is patient. Across the water, a forest elephant crashes through underbrush. Smaller than its savanna cousin, but no less formidable. It has come for minerals, clay laced with salt, exposed by the river's meandering path. The elephant kneels, using its trunk like a hand, scooping, testing. This behavior, mineral, foraging, keeps it healthy. But it also makes it vulnerable, because in the Congo, hunters know where the elephants go. Poachers move through the forest in silence, guided by greed and desperation. They do not speak. Their traps do not announce themselves. And when they strike, the forest mourns. Vultures circle days later. The river carries blood and ivory alike. But nature resists. A group of bonobos, the Congo's gentle apes, gathers by a slow bend in the river. Unlike their chimp cousins, they solve conflict with touch, not war. They wade into the shallows, babies clinging to bellies, elders watching the sky. The moment feels almost human, and yet older than humanity. The river flows past them, silent, immense. As we travel downstream, the Congo transforms. It quickens, rushes, tumbles. We arrive at the Livingston Falls, massive cataracts that split the river into thunder and foam. Few animals cross here, even fewer return. But life still clings to the edges. Cichlids, jewel-toned fish found nowhere else, navigate the swirling water with precision. Some of them flash iridescent blues and reds, like stained glass given motion. Others dart into rock crevices to spawn, their fry drifting like stars in the current. A pied kingfisher hovers above, wings a blur. It dives, emerges with a silver fish, and returns to its branch. The river gives, but only to the bold. And then, the true monsters arrive. The Congo clawed. Frog, no bigger than a palm, but its call resonates like thunder beneath the surface. The Goliath tigerfish, apex predator of the current, lunges at anything that moves. It has teeth like knives, and a reputation built in fear. We follow one now. It glides past camera, eyes fixed forward, fins twitching. It strikes without warning, severing a juvenile catfish in one blow, then vanishes. Even hippos, rare in this stretch, are seen in pairs, wary of deeper water. The current here is treacherous, and the tigerfish is always watching. In the village of Lukalela, people live with the river, not beside it. Children paddle carved canoes. Women wash clothes in swirling eddies. Men fish with nets and ancient wisdom. They do not fear the river, but they respect it. They tell stories of creatures beneath the water, of spirits that punish those who do not honor the flow. These are not mere myths. They are warnings, reminders. The river, it begins as a trickle in the Tibetan plateau, cold, clear, and unremarkable. But as it journeys south, the Mekong transforms. It becomes a beast of water and time. A flood vein that runs through 6 nations, binding mountains to delta, wilderness to humanity. From China to Cambodia, Laos to Vietnam, the Mekong is life and death. It flows through the golden heart of Southeast Asia, feeding forests, farms, and fever dreams. Its waters teem with creatures as ancient as the myths that echo along its banks. But here, as everywhere, paradise demands a price. We begin in the highlands of Yunnan, where cliffs rise in cathedral shapes and the Mekong cuts through stone like a blade of patience. Snow leopards roam the ridgelines, blue sheep scale vertical crags, and below, the river tumbles in white fury, young, wild, and fierce. In the misty valleys, red pandas forage in mossy branches, their movements slow and deliberate. They are ghosts of a gentler time, now rare and retreating. As the river flows downward, so too does the world grow denser, greener, louder. In northern Laos, the Mekong widens, slows, and grows warm. Jungles press against its flanks, thick, vine-choked, breathing. Gibbons sing in the morning light, leaping between trees with effortless grace. Their calls ring over the water, ghostly and melodic, fading into the mist like incense. Here, the forest is full of watchers. A clouded leopard descends from a tree, silent as dusk. It drinks from the riverbank, amber eyes scanning. It hunts the edges, squirrels, civets, perhaps a young deer that strays too close. And when it disappears again into shadow, it leaves no trace. Below the surface, a different realm unfolds. The Mekong holds some of the largest freshwater fish on Earth. We descend into the deep pools that dot its course, some over 80 meters deep. In the gloom, a shape drifts, a giant freshwater stingray, wide as a boat, tail like a whip. It settles on the bottom, half buried in silt, ancient and immense. These rays can grow to over 600 kilograms, soft-bodied but lethal. Their tails hold. Venom their presence commands awe, rarely seen, rarely understood. Then another shadow, larger, heavier, the Mekong giant catfish. A legend in motion. Pale-skinned, nearly blind, it feeds on algae and silence. Once common, now vanishing. Dams block their migrations. Boats churn their waters. Pollution clouds their world. Yet some still thrive in secret places, far from human noise. We follow one now, its body like a submerged boulder, its fins rippling with slow grace. It navigates a forgotten channel, drawn by instinct older than any map. In Cambodia's flooded forests, the river spills into trees. Here, during monsoon season, the Tonle Sap reverses flow, an inland lake expanding fivefold, swallowing jungle and village alike. It is one of nature's strangest tricks. In these flooded groves, macaques leap from submerged branches. Snakes swim alongside kingfishers. The boundaries between land and water dissolve. This is a world of amphibians and opportunists. A reticulated python coils around a low-hanging branch, motionless. Beneath, a barking deer steps into the water, cautious. The python waits. Time stretches. Then it drops. A sudden splash. Twisting limbs. The water stills. The forest breathes again. In the undergrowth, soft-footed predators stalk. fishing cats, otters, monitor lizards. They patrol the swamps like soldiers of the old order, each with its own territory, its own way to take from the river without giving back. Above, a storm builds. The sky turns dark with monsoon rage. Lightning fractures the clouds. Thunder rolls like drums of war. The river rises in hours, sweeping away debris, nests, even homes. The Mekong transforms, docile to dangerous. Boats overturn. Villagers scramble to secure animals. A water buffalo is swept into the current, eyes wide. It tries to swim to shore, but the river is stronger. In Vietnam's lowland delta, the Mekong finally fractures, splitting into 9 fingers that grasp the South China Sea. Here, human life is inseparable. From the river, floating markets, stilt houses, rice fields fed by its flood, the Mekong provides. And yet, it also warns. Mangroves grow at its edges, their roots tangled in brine and mud. In their shade, mudskippers dance, crabs duel, and crocodiles wait. Salt water encroaches, more each year. Climate change is pushing tides inland, poisoning farmland, threatening traditions. But still, the river pulses with defiance. In the early morning, a pair of Saru's cranes steps into the shallows. The tallest flying birds on earth, their silhouettes blaze crimson in the rising sun. They bow, dance, call. A ritual not for show, but for bonding, for faith in life. Nearby, a pangolin emerges from its burrow, scales gleaming in the dew. It snuffles among roots, seeking ants. It has no defense but secrecy, and that secrecy is vanishing. Poachers track them. Trade decimates them. The river knows the sound of cages, yet life endures. In hidden inlets, baby turtles hatch and scramble to water. In canopy branches, hornbills pass fruit beak to beak. In deep eddies, dolphins breach, Irrawaddy River dolphins, shy and smiling, their numbers dwindling, their presence a miracle. We follow one now, its rounded head breaking the surface, its breath like a sigh. It swims from the Black Forest to the Black Sea. The Danube flows, a thread of silver stitching together the heart of Europe. It is not the longest river, nor the wildest, but it is the most storied. A river of culture and conquest, of wolves and warblers, of blood, bone, and rebirth. It begins as a whisper among pines in Germany's highlands, 2 humble streams joining hands in the shadow of firs. They twist and tumble through alpine meadows, their water young and cold, fed by snowmelt and time. Deer come to drink at dawn, hooves crunching frost. A lynx watches from the tree line, invisible but present, waiting not for prey, but for peace. These forests remember wolves, and slowly wolves are returning. Gray shadows move through the fog. A pack, lean, cautious, rebuilding their claim. Once hunted to extinction across much of Europe, now they creep back into the old places. The Danube is their corridor, their thread of hope. Downstream, the river gathers strength. Tributaries join like tributaries of a great story. Austria, Slovakia, Hungary, Croatia. Each nation, each bend, tells a different tale. We pass Vienna, Budapest, Belgrade, capitals born of water and will. But we do not dwell in the cities. We follow the wild. In the floodplain forests of Hungary, life explodes in the shadows. These woodlands, called the Gemenk, flood each spring.
Oaks and alders rise from mirrored pools. Wild boars root in the underbrush. Red deer wade through chest-deep water. Egrets stalk frogs in the reeds, and above all, white-tailed eagles soar, the monarchs of this sky. Broad-winged, yellow-beaked, fierce-eyed. They nest in the tallest trees, scan the river for fish, and defend their airspace with thunderous cries. Witness one now, plunging from its perch, talons extended, slicing the water in a spray of silver. It emerges victorious, clutching a wriggling pike. On the branch, its mate waits. A bond built on flight and hunger that spans seasons. In the shallows, a more ancient hunter stirs, the European pond turtle, dark-shelled and cautious. It climbs, a sunlit log to bask, its leathery neck stretching toward the warmth. Once a common sight, now threatened by pollution, habitat loss, and invasive species. The Danube has always been a passage for life, but now also for danger. Invasive fish, like the North American catfish, move through the deeper channels, displacing native species. Zebra mussels clog pipes and choke native bivalves, and yet nature resists. In Romania's wetlands, the Danube reaches its crescendo. The Danube Delta, Europe's last great wilderness, a labyrinth of channels, lakes, and reed beds, covering more than 4,000 square kilometers. It is where the river ends and becomes eternal. Here, pelicans gather in squadrons. The Dalmatian pelican, massive, prehistoric, with curling feathers and ghostly eyes, glides over mirror lakes. They nest on floating reed islands, fish in cooperative groups, and preen in dawn light like kings in exile. We follow one as it dives, pouch ballooning, wings folding. It surfaces with a gulp and a splash. Nearby, grebes and cormorants join the feast. The delta is a banquet, if one knows where to look. Beneath the water, a different kind of traveler roams, the beluga sturgeon, living fossil, armored titan. Once, they migrated from the Black Sea to Austria. Now, dams block their path. Their bodies carry the memory of another age, when the river was unbroken and the fish were gods. A female sturgeon, heavy with roe, searches for a spawning ground she can no longer reach. She circles aimlessly, sensing the wrongness in the current. Her eggs will never hatch. The Danube, once open, is now fractured. But in pockets of wilderness, life endures. The delta's meadows bloom with wildflowers. Bearded reedlings flit through tall grasses, their calls delicate as wind chimes. Otters play in oxbow lakes, rolling and tumbling like river-born spirits. Wild horses, descendants of those abandoned in old wars, graze in herds, untamed and resilient. In the heat of summer, dragonflies fill the air in jeweled clouds. Frogs sing from every puddle. The air hums with pollinators. The entire world feels suspended in time, and in the dusk, the wolves return. They pad along river trails, drink from oxbow bends, vanish into sedge and shadow. Born in mountains, forged in exile, they have found a home in the river's arms. Evening drapes the delta in gold. Swans ripple the water. Foxes cry out in the reeds. The Danube whispers its final secrets before surrendering to the sea. And so it ends, not with a roar, but with a breath. This river, born in alpine stillness, has carried kings and crusaders, poets and plagues, saints and sturgeon. It has bled for borders, sung of sorrow, and fed millions. It is not merely a river,
It is a bloodline of Europe, of life, of what remains when empires fall. Sacred peaks kissed by snow and silence, the Brahmaputra is born. In its infancy, it is called the Yarlung Tsangpo, an alpine whisper, winding westward across the Tibetan plateau. But this whisper gathers strength. It carves canyons deeper than the Grand Canyon, tunnels through time and tectonics, and bursts into India like a god breaking chains. In Assam, it takes its final name, Brahmaputra, the son of Brahma, the river of thunder, one of the most ferocious and fertile lifelines on earth. Here its moods shift like weather. One moment, a mirror of clouds. The next, a ravenous flood swallowing fields whole. The monsoon is its breath. And life, in all its defiance, clings to every heartbeat. We enter the floodplains in midsummer, where sky meets water and land forgets its shape. The river sprawls over 500 miles in length, yet in flood season, it can stretch more than 15 miles wide. Islands form and vanish. Forests drown and reappear. Villages drift. The ground quivers with uncertainty. But in this chaos, life flourishes. At the heart of the river's embrace lies Kaziranga, a sanctuary carved from the wrath of the Brahmaputra, a place where giants walk. We begin at dawn. The mist curls over. Tall elephant grass, painting everything in strokes of silver and ash. And from the haze it emerges, the one-horned rhinoceros, armored, primeval, unstoppable. Over 2 tons of silent power. It grazes on reeds, snorts gently, and lifts its head at the cry of a distant bird. Each movement is slow, deliberate. This is its kingdom, shared, not owned. Nearby, wild water buffalo wallow in muddy shallows. Their horns spiral upward like twisted halos, eyes half-lidded in trance. They are the heavyweights of the floodplain, their strength matched only by their calm. But predators stir in the shadows. The Royal Bengal tiger, master of camouflage, ghost of the grasslands. It stalks not just deer and boar, but the giants themselves. Here, tigers have learned to challenge rhinos, even buffalo. Risk and hunger are constant companions. We glimpse one now, orange and black, moving through reeds with a liquid grace that belongs more to dream than muscle. It crouches, waits, watches, then vanishes. No rush, no mistake. Just patience. The Brahmaputra watches too. It watches as elephants travel in matriarchal lines, crossing shallow tributaries with calves shielded between bodies. As hog deer graze under fig trees, ears twitching at the slightest sound. As fishing, cats dart along the shorelines, hunting with paws that strike like lightning, and beneath the surface, another predator reigns. The gharial, crocodilian, streamlined, evolved for rivers. With its long, toothy snout and prehistoric eyes, it waits in ambush, hunting fish with surgical precision. Once widespread across the subcontinent, now only a few hundred remain. It slips through the murk like a phantom, invisible unless it chooses otherwise. The Brahmaputra cradles its survivors in currents rich with silt and memory. In the skies above, Brahmani kites wheel in pairs, scavengers and sentinels. They watch everything. Nothing escapes their gaze. During flood season, when the Brahmaputra spills over its banks, they follow the chaos. Dead livestock, stranded animals, new prey flushed into open water. They are the storm's attendants, dressed in feathers of rust and bone. But the river does not merely feed, it tests. Every year thousands flee its rage. Houses are swept away, roads erased, lives drowned. Erosion eats through farmland. Families rebuild on sandbars that may not last a month. Still, they return. Still, they plant rice. Herd cattle, cast nets into brown torrents, because this river, for all its fury, is life. And those who know it best understand. To live with the Brahmaputra is to bend, not break. In winter, the river retreats. What it leaves behind is rebirth. Oxbow, lakes shimmering under crisp skies, riverine forests teeming with birds, and sun-baked islands where migratory cranes rest on their long journey. In the heart of South America lies a world that breathes in flood and exhales in drought, a world ruled by water, yet never tamed by it. This is the Amazon, an empire of trees and shadows where the river does not run through the jungle. It becomes it. Every year, as the rains fall far to the west in the Andes, a pulse travels eastward. It builds slowly, quietly, like a storm behind a curtain, and then the river rises, not by inches, by meters. The Amazon floods its own forests, turning trees into coral reefs and canopy into current. More than 6 million square kilometers of living tapestry soaked, drowned, and reborn. This is not destruction. This is ritual. We enter the floodplain at dusk. The water mirrors the flame-orange sky, broken only by ripples, signs of life just beneath the surface. A caiman floats still, as driftwood, eyes above water, body below. A sliver of menace, watching. Above, scarlet macaws wheel through the canopy, screaming in pairs, their wings like paint on the sky. Below them, howler monkeys bellow, low, mournful cries that ripple through the wet trees like echoes of the earth itself. And among the tangled roots, a legend waits. The jaguar, silent, solitary, sovereign. No cat on earth hunts like it. It does not stalk across open plains. It swims, it climbs, it ambushes. We see her now, female, young but strong, moving with feline grace along a submerged trail. Only the tops of trees rise above the flood. A capybara grazes near the edge of a floating mat of vegetation. Deep in the cradle of Africa lies a river unlike any other, thick with mystery, heavy with life, and wrapped in shadows so dense they seem to swallow the sun itself. This is the Congo, the great artery of the world's second largest rainforest, the heart that pulses with secrets and survival. The river begins as a collection of swollen streams in the highlands of the East African Rift. Here, waterfalls thunder and mist rises like ghosts from the jungle floor. The Congo roars to life, carving canyons that echo with the cries of unseen creatures and carrying sediment that will fertilize forests 1,000 miles downstream. Its waters are dark and fast, often turbulent, a force that commands respect and demands caution. The river is a passage and a prison, shaping the lives of every creature it touches. In this emerald cathedral, light filters through towering trees, casting a mosaic of shadows on the forest floor. The air is thick with humidity and the scent of earth and decay. Here, the canopy above hosts one of the richest tapestries of life on Earth. We follow the trail of the elusive okapi, a creature so strange it once baffled explorers, With stripes like a zebra but the build of a giraffe, it moves silently through undergrowth, a ghost in a world of giants. Its large ears twitch at every sound, a constant vigilance honed by predators and poachers alike. Nearby, lowland gorillas forage, silverback standing sentinel, muscles rippling beneath dark fur. Family bonds run deep in these groups, with mothers teaching young ones how to find fruit, and the old imparting lessons in survival. Their eyes hold stories of resilience and sorrow, stories of a world shrinking around them. But the Congo is not only home to gentle giants. The forest floor trembles beneath the paws of the African golden cat, stealth incarnate, with amber eyes burning in twilight. It hunts in silence, its coat a living camouflage of leaf litter and shadow. Above, the call of the Congo peafowl pierces the stillness. A rare bird cloaked in iridescent blues and greens, a jewel among the leaves. It dances its courtship with flashes of color, a reminder that even in darkness life shines bright. The river itself teems with life. Cichlids dart in shoals beneath floating vegetation. Massive hippos emerge at dusk, their breath steaming in the cool air. Crocodiles lie like logs on muddy banks, ancient sentinels of water and time. Every bend reveals new wonders. In swamps of papyrus and water lilies, sitatungas, antelope adapted to aquatic life, step lightly, their hooves spreading weight on marshy ground. Their presence speaks of adaptation and survival in a land that can be as unforgiving as it is generous. Yet the Congo's greatest treasure is its people. More than 75 million human lives depend on this river, tribes and towns, fishermen and farmers. Their cultures are intertwined with the river's rhythms. The Mbuti pygmies, guardians of the forest, read the wind and the water, living in balance with the land that sustains them. But threats loom. Illegal logging scars the forests. Mining poisons the waters. Political turmoil fractures communities, and climate change alters the delicate balance of flood and drought. Still, the Congo persists. In the roar of its waterfalls, in the song of its birds, in the soft rustle of leaves. Beneath a gorilla's footfall, it speaks of hope. It speaks of a future where darkness and light coexist, where the river continues to nourish life, fierce and fragile. As night falls, the jungle hums with life. Fireflies blink in waves, frogs chorus in harmony, and the stars reflect in the glassy river. The Congo holds its breath, waiting for the dawn, for the next story, for the next breath of life. For the river is eternal, and so are the souls who call it home.